Hi everyone, welcome back. So a while back I received a question from one viewer asking what my thoughts are and how I would approach no sanding ball or no sand ball. So what that is, it's basically a tool finish. So straight from the tools you would use the ball, oil it and stuff like that. Now, would I recommend something like that? In most cases, no. The only thing that I would apply maybe tool finish is when I'm making like wet bowls and I let them naturally warp and I don't speed up the process and I don't sand, and you always get some sort of texture, let's say, on the surface. You can't avoid that. So sanding is something, in my opinion, that is required. So every professional that I've seen, met or spoke to, everybody sand, and that's just the proper way of finishing our work and bringing it up to that next level. However, there is occasions where maybe you want a tool finish, maybe the texture the client wants, and something similar like that. Now, there is one good aspect to this, and if you're practicing like the best possible surface that you can get, and that is once you get to the sanding stage, you'll spend way less time on sanding because you have pretty good surface straight from the tools, and you won't have to go any lower than 180 grit. So that will save you on sandpaper, on time and everything. So in this video I'm going to show you how I would approach the best possible surface that you can get straight from the tools, and I'm going to sand the ball as well at the end, just to see. I'm going to show you how little of sanding is required, so when you have the proper technique. So this is beach. Now, if you remember a while back, I had two types of beach in my shop here. So this one is quite, I'm not going to say bad, but it doesn't like to be finished properly, or it doesn't take tool finish the best. So this will be a great candidate to sort of do this demonstration. However, the other type that is much more reddish, it's sort of a boiled process that it went through. It's much more cutting easily and cleanly. So this is the harder stuff from the two, and I know it maybe sounds like excuses, but again, I have only a little piece of left like this and maybe one more of this, and happily I've removed most of it from my shop so I can get another batch. So this will just go on a screw chuck, and that's pretty well on. Okay, so how to approach something like this? Now, if you want to get the best possible surface on the cross-grain work like this, now I should point out that the viewer that sent me that question didn't have any problems with end-grain work, only with the cross-grain work like this, like bowls or cross-grain boxes or stuff like that. So my advice would be to always cut the wood instead of scrape. Now I'm going to show you the scrape as well. And now this spot seems a little bit dark, so I'll just adjust the light a little bit. So ball gouge, and you can use spindle gouge to rough it out. I'll actually do that as well. And smooth out the bottom, so that's blank nice and true, and I'll do the top as well. So I'll be grabbing the ball with this size that fits perfectly into my bigger chuck. And now ball gouge. Now this is still rough shape, so Okay, so that's pretty good shape. I have the foot here, and I'm going to set the foot dimension and move away from the foot with shear scrape right to the bottom, and I can go with a shear cut as well to the bottom like this. So that's pretty good. And now maybe a little bead of a foot like this, and now a nice shear cut or push cut to finish up the outside. Now I'll drop the rest down. Nice and easy. You don't need the left hand once you're riding the bevel here. Just follow the path that you want, nice and smoothly. Let the wood come down to the tool. And finish it off nicely. So there is a flat spot here because I can't get riding the bevel at the very bottom, but the surface here is really nice and shiny. There is a little like hesitation mark or burnish mark, you can see it here, but we can smooth that out. And I still have to smooth the base here, which I actually forgot. So just zoom in a little bit closer so you can see it a little bit better. Now on this occasion I'm going to do something, or at least try to do something a little bit different. Now this is quite a good angle, you can see a tear out here, or actually I can drop it down a little bit. There we go, so that's a good angle. So you can see the tear out here. Now that was just a roughing cut with a spindle gouge. So what I'll do, I'm still using ball gouge. Using the wing, I'm going to true up here where the very rim, and then nice push cut nice and gently to the bottom, and you can make a little decoration. So let's see if that worked. Okay, so you can see that's pretty good straight from the tool. There is a few more marks here at the very rim. So what I can do, I can use a shear scraper, let's say. Those are the two things that I want to try out here. So shear scraper up on its side, and very gently go across the surface here, and that should leave quite good surface. And it's quite good. There is a little like a rougher spot here, but I want to try something else as well. So this is Steve Jones sort of a negative rake scraper, but in this case I'm going to use it as a shear scraper. And that feels quite good, and I lost the detail here a little bit, so now this point maybe a little bit sharper than it is. So let's see now the bottom here. Yeah, that's pretty good, so I'm going to leave it as it is. The foot here is quite good, but I have to finish here where is the flat spot. Now I can use a classic shear scraper. I'm showing you a lot of different options that you can use to get the best possible surface. You only have to use one that suits you the best. So that's one way to get off the of the corner here, or you can use a spear point scraper. Which works really well in this kind of situations. And I'm dropping the handle and I'm using a very extreme shear angle just to smooth it out a little bit, just to remove any tool marks, especially here where is that hesitation. So just lightly go. And I forgot to change the angle of the camera so you can actually see what's happening. So this is just really light glide over the wood, over the surface, just removing any knobs. There is a one line coming down to here. That's pretty clean. Let's focus it here. Pretty clean, straight from the tool finish. So you can see here on the foot as well, and here at the rim here. So everything is nice and clean without any tear out or lumps or anything. And if you want to take this surface maybe a step up, or at least try to, you can always use card scrapers. So this is the curved one that I have the rectangular one. So let's just try what this will do. So the rotation is towards me, and I'll be focusing the scraper here on this portion. Let's see if that makes it on the side grain here at least a little bit better. Now there is a little chatter mark, so I'll try to remove that from the scraper here. So I'm not pleased how it works here, but let's see if on the side grain portion here works a little bit better. I'm looking for a side that has a sharpest burr. Let's see with the rectangular one. So the burr has gone. Here it doesn't, I don't feel it. So I'll raise another one, and I have a separate video on how to use card scrapers on a bowl. And I'll position it here so you can see the shavings. So here at the very edge I don't have a burr, so I'll have to deal with that. So you can see nice lovely whispery shavings. Again, remember where the rotation is. I don't push the scraper against the rotation, I'm holding it down like this. And this is not something new. It's mostly used in Japanese culture of turning. You can see nice lovely shavings. Usually they use, I believe, hacksaw blades or something like that. And you can bend it slightly much like if you use this as a regular card scraper on a flat stock. Okay, so that's the outside, at least this side grain portion, end grain portion done, and you can see that's pretty shiny and really nice and smooth, and I hope I will be able to show you at a different light as well. So now I did wipe my hands in the shaving, so because I have a metal dust on my hands, but you can see that's pretty darn good surface straight from the tool. So that would need 240, maybe even 360 to start with, and you don't need to go any lower than that. So now let's do the hollowing and then I'll show you the sanding. Usually you can't do, there's not many options for the inside. We all using push cut to get the inside. So first I'll just screw up the top. Get the depth hole done. That was a bit aggressive. And now the hollowing. So that's the bottom of the hole. Okay, so still have a little bit thickness, but before that I want to sharpen the gouge. I'll sharpen the gouge and get the one last or maybe two last passes. So this is now the last pass. Nice and gently through the middle, and I did dig it in a little bit, and I have a little scoring line here, but the surface is actually quite good. You can see a little chatter mark here, hopefully you can see it, but everything is cut nice and clean. So that's the benefit of using like a push cut, as you saw on the outside as well, but sometimes you have to refine that surface a little bit. So in this case I still have a little bit thickness here, so I want to remove that, and I did gouge it here at the very center. So I'll take one more pass, a light pass. Now here I'm encountering vibrations, so I'll put the hand behind the cut and slow down. There we go. Sharp gouge, hands behind the cut, and just go lightly. So this portion here now it's cut beautifully, as you can see, and this will all now get sanded really quickly. So on the inside, it's best way, as we always do, we're always like using push cut to hug out the inside. That's probably the only way, other than maybe using scrapers, but that's the inside nicely done. So now I can sand this. I'll start from the inside and then we'll reverse the bowl and sand the outside. So 180 grit, and I need to turn on the dust extractor. Close the dust hood a little bit. And you can drop down the RPM a little bit. That's spinning a little too fast. So again, this is 180 grit. That's like 20 seconds and you'll see that's pretty good surface, straight from 180 grit, and a little bit more and that will be it. Here. And 240 grit. Shavings, polish it up, and I'll just apply a little bit of wax on. That's the inside done. So that took just a few seconds with sanding, and that's more than enough for anybody, for utilitarian stuff like this. So that's silky smooth on the inside, more than enough for any utilitarian stuff. The extra step that I took to use the card scraper in this case to smooth it out even further just didn't yield all that much in terms of like sanding after. So I don't see the need, apart from again using like on a wet timber to get the tool finish, but I guess it's a good technique, like I said, to practice so you don't have to sand as much. So I'll just jam on this to finish the bottom. A piece of wood here and line it up. There we go, so that's good enough, and just sand the outside. Now, since this is quite good finish, I'll just use a inertia sander. This is 360 grit. I think this will be enough. Is a little bit rougher. So 240 grit for the foot. And here just above the foot. And now 360 just to finish it off. Shavings again, burnish it a little bit. I'll apply the finish only to this portion. I have to just a little bit sand on the bottom of the foot. Okay, so that's the outside also done. So just a little bit of sanding here. And apply the wax. So here is the bowl, nicely finished on the outside, sanded, and on the inside you can see for utilitarian stuff this is more than enough. Now the point of this video is I sand, every professional sand its work, and I would leave tool finish for specific wants, specific needs for a client if they want stuff like that. So a little bit rougher texture and maybe a little bit of tool marks or anything like that. So I would leave that. And again, in my opinion at least, there is no point in getting the perfect tool finish surface because 180 grit will eliminate, if you have a really decent surface, it will eliminate every flaw. So usually on the outside I would start with 180 grit and on the inside 1 grit lower, and just because I want to get nice blend and curve, and 120 grit on the inside usually cuts down stuff that I can't feel or see with my eyes. So, and it's just maybe like 10 seconds with 120 grit on the inside, and that usually done, and then I can proceed 180, 240 and 360. So hopefully that explains this. Now again, if you want to get the polish like you saw on the outside of this bowl with card scrapers, you can do that. Again, in my opinion, there is no need to go that far. You can stop with a shear scraper or using a bowl gouge at the shear angle, or just cutting the outside. That's the most efficient way, as you saw on the inside. Usually people not notice that, but on the inside we always use push cut, no matter what. We always riding the bevel to get the curve and to steer in the curve that we want, and that usually gives the best surface. But you have to sharpen your gouge. You have to maybe for the last cut go to a grinder, and you'll see the tremendous difference between the surface quality. So again, hopefully you'll find this video helpful or useful, and see you in the next one.